guys, welcome to a sweet one today. I'm playtesting Legacy against Andrea Mengucci. He will be playing in Eternal Weekend EU and wants to test out a few decks, and I'm, of course, happy to help. Today he's going to be playing Mystic Forge, and I'm going to run him through a gauntlet of my 5 favorite decks, or at least, yeah, very close to it. You can find all the guides over on my Metafy. So, yeah, I certainly recommend you checking that out if you care about these lists, the strategy behind it, how to sideboard against the field, some tricks, etc., etc. Let's get into the first one here. I'm playing Izzet Delver Cutter, a deck that I really love. I think it's been quite good this last couple of weeks. I think once I realized I could fit Delver and Cutter into the same deck, that was a big game changer. Also, fitting in a couple of Noxus Revival, crossover against Reanimator, and also a somewhat serviceable card when you're playing, Delver, DRC, Cutter. But other than that, super standard main deck. We're trying to wasteland our way. We're trying to daze and force and hopefully reduce our opponent's life total to 0. Out of the sideboard, we have some consigns, some negations, some prices, and that should hopefully just hammer home the point. And yeah, let's see if we can start off strong in this gauntlet. All right. Round 1, I'm playing against Mystic Forge, which is a dangerous deck. This hand looks fine. Could be anything, right, with those bubbles. So, yeah, let's see. Hopefully Daze and Wasteland can combine for a way to get out of the first turns, or at least get into my threat. I guess that's how I should put it. Let's see what I have here. I have a Murktide Regent. Maybe that is going to be good enough. So let me play like this. Draw the Murktide. Then look again and make a decision. Maybe that Murktide was a little bit too early. Time will tell. Now the opponent knows that I liked my card. Planar Nexus pass. So this could either be a bridge for Tower, or it could just straight up be their worst land. No Surveil land here. I should have gotten Steam Vents, actually. Forgot about that. Here's Noxious Revival, which is quite terrible unless I'm recurring Wasteland, I guess. Okay. Let's cast Ponder. So now let's try and understand. Can I, quote-unquote, cheat a little bit here and go... keep these cards, cast Ponder. Does that work? If I do that, then I have 5 cards in the graveyard. Wasteland them next turn. I'm a little bit scared that it's going to be late. Because if Andrea goes... something that beats Daze, essentially. But maybe I should take that chance. Okay. I'm happy to test it out here. Fill the graveyard here. Force of Will is incredible. So is Wasteland. So I kind of got what I wanted here. I found my way to a threat. I found my way to a force. And now I have double Wasteland incoming. Let's see what this is. Pithing Needle. It's funny that I have to Force of Will that card. Very, very annoying. So now I have a choice to make. I think I'm supposed to kill Planar Nexus. Kill Nexus. Play Merc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still have Wasteland in my graveyard. Wasteland in my hand. And hopefully this Daze is going to be good. Second Saga. And I get to Daze a Monolith, which is incredible. So I should probably just take my draw here. The alternative is to put back Daze. Daze might be great. It now turns Murktide into a 3-turn clock. So what happens if I attack now, Leave my opponent in the dirt and then have that card. Okay, I'll try this. Noxious Revival on the days. Play Wasteland. Kill that one. Attack for 7. Yeah, let's see if this works. I'm out of juice here. Ooh, it looks like we got our opponent here. Wow, that was sweet. So yeah, double Wasteland, a little bit of dazing. That was incredible. Really cool way to start the day. I was happy with that one. Could have easily backfired as well though. Okay, so I have a ton of good cards, not the surgical. I have a ton of good cards here, and I have Noxious that are bad. I got super lucky. You can easily trim Cutter here, so I consider those easy cuts. Chain Lightning you can always cut. Now, there's a little bit about Dazes, inconsistencies, but it's still a blue card, and I'm a 6-force matchup. Maybe I'm just cutting another Cutter here. Yeah, maybe Corey Steel Cutter is not the move. Maybe I should just sideboard them out entirely. Is that good? Bring in a single Abrade. Keep 3 bolts. Bolts go to the face. Bolts go to small constructs. Bolts goes onto Flesh Raker, which is not atrocious. Braid on the draw. A Braid on the draw versus Lightning Bolt. Maybe that's a play draw thing. Maybe the 2-2 split on the play is what I need to do. Okay. I'll give this a go. I expect Andrea to upgrade very, very slightly, maybe a little bit more like portable hole or needle effects. So let's see here. The opponent's on a mulligan. I have no interaction. No wasteland, no forces, no consigns. I do have a creature, and I do have some digging power. So I think if I'm keeping this hand, I'm keeping it so I can ponder and try and find a force. Turn 1, I don't think I'm playing the Delver. So I'm now soft to the opponent having an explosive hand. And I'm soft to a bad ponder. Not ideal. Oh, wow. Brought in Layla and Other Void. Okay. That is annoying. Lightning Bolt. Doesn't do much. So I think what I should do here is cast a Ponder because I desperately need a force. I do get a force. That's sick. So that price is also going to be good later. So like that, like that, like that. So now comes the question of if I want to have that third land, and I don't think that's the case. So I should pass here. Versus Workshop. Here's Tezzeret, Cruel Captain. So I think I should let that resolve. Let's see what the opponent wants to get with it. They search an artifact. They basically just daze check me. So now I can go Delver Bolt, I guess. Research desk. Okay, so the opponent is in the market for a little bit of grinding. Here's Price of Progress. Not bad, not bad. So bolt that card. Is that even necessary now? Untap target art. Yeah, maybe that's not necessary. So I'm supposed to go. Let's see. What's my next card? My next card's a land, so it's fine to fetch here. Play Delver. Play Mistress Bauble. And then use that to help flip the Delver. I think that's the move. I was a little bit unclear about the timing here on the bolt that I ended up giving it away. I can't recommend that if you want to win games of Magic and play well. Let's see what this is. Is this the research desk? I really want to flip this Delver and use the Price of Progress. You can even argue lightning bolt to the face is gonna be relevant. I'll keep an eye out for that. That's why I needed to keep up my flexibility here on the lightning bolt. Here's Research Desk. I'm fine with that card. So Tezzeret goes to 2. Doesn't do anything. I will not let it... Excuse me. I will not let it go to more than this, though. Ursa Saga. That's annoying. Here's Research Desk. That works. So let's check the 2 cards. Karn and Fleshraker. Opponent chose Fleshraker for next turn. So now Andrea's mana base is going to be a little bit under pressure. Whenever an artifact you control enters, so that means the opponent can do that. Okay. With Saga, and then get a counter. So let's see what we have on top here. We have a Brainstorm. That's amazing. So let's do the math here. If I bolt my opponent, he's at 15. I attack 12. Price is 6. Yeah, it's getting dangerously close here. I could try and ignore the Tezzeret. All right, let's try and do that. Bolt the face. Put Bobble on the stack first. Resolve Delver trigger. Draw. Here's an attack onto life total. So I think I should cast a cantrip now to try and find a consign to memory or another force. I think I'm really doing it if I manage to do that. So let's play the best one. I find a wasteland, which ironically is a little bit bad with price of progress. So maybe that card is fine though. So I go like this. Play a 1/1. Sounds really bad. Just might do it. So what happens if I wasteland the workshop? Wasteland the workshop. My opponent's so far though from... Probably should kill this one. Play a 1/1. Yeah, I don't know if this was even smart. Okay, the opponent was left in the dirt here, so none of that mattered. Okay, I guess we got the job done here with good old tempoing. Let's play the next one. All right, next up we have my take on Mono Red Prison. Mono Red Prison is a deck that uses Chalice of the Void on 1 and Blood Moons to shut down the opponent and then get over the finish line with random red creatures. We're also an Ursa Saga deck. Ursa Saga can go and get Lantern against Graveyard and against... you know, if you want to race against the combo deck, you can go and get the boots. You also have the One Ring to hopefully buy time, Bombardier for reach, all that kind of jazz. Sideboard here against Mystic Forge specifically. I think I want the Confluences. I think I want the Blood Moon, and I will think about how many flutes I can bring in. So yeah, let's get to battle. All right, next matchup. I'm playing Mono Red Prison. I'm up against Mystic Forge, and I think this is going to be a beating. But let's see. This hand is not great. I have to throw it back. If I was up against a known other deck, I could consider keeping it. Mulligan to 5 on the side of my opponent. I'm going to keep this one. So now the question is what to get rid of. Maybe this Blood Moon is quite bad. Maybe this Chalice is quite bad. Okay, I'll try and get rid of the Chalice here. My opponent gets to play 2 turns before I do something. Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. I'm basically hoping my opponent has a slow hand or some Fleshraker hand where Fury can do some double duty. I'm not sure I'm supposed to mulligan to 5 in the quest to play a 3-drop turn 1, but it very well could have been the case with with being on the draw against a dangerous deck like Mystic Forge. Well, let's see what they can do. So the thing is, when they mulligan to 5, their ability to cast turn 1 Ring or Karn or whatever is still the same. I'm a little bit scared about that fact. So while he's figuring out his double mulligan, let me just have a quick glance in the sideboard. We have some stuff out there. Pedal. Okay. So he's playing around Chalice with 0. That's cool. Fury, Atrocious, draw. Probably have to play this land even though it's a Stone Rain later. Maybe I hold up the flexibility here. Maybe I play Ancient Tomb Pass. Because if I draw another red source, I'm going to be very sad that I let this Stone Rain go. Here's Ursa Saga. A card I would love to Stone Rain. This is probably quite good for me. So now I'm going to land a Moon effect. And then I draw Chrome Mox to kind of rub it in a little bit. But maybe that's fine because that lets me keep this one. So what if I go Chrome Mox, Pitch Fury, Slam Magus of the Moon? Alternatively, no, I think that's what I have to do. Chrome Mox, Fury. So let's see. I should probably play Seated Traders to save life here. Play City, play Magus. I'm trying to think about the differences here. This dies to K command in theory if the opponent has 2 colorless. This looks like drawing a card. This looks like drawing a card, making a token, right? So let's see. Magus of the Moon. What did the opponent do here? 1 to the top. Is this time for a big boy play and Fury this token? Because otherwise the opponent has a 4-drop. All right. Let's try and go land destruction. See if it works. 3 mana. So the point of the play is to keep my opponent off 4 mana with Fury onto the token and Eruption onto one of the lands here. I did not succeed. So now the opponent can go tutor a Petal. Let's see if they want to cash in the Tezzeret now. I think they should, because, you know, it could die to Bombardier or whatever. They don't. And I draw Blood Moon. So now I'm gonna Stone Rain one of the lands. The thing is, will they ever get rid of this one? I'm not sure. Let's kill that card, attack Tezzeret for 2. Blood Moon was an atrocious draw, of course. Maybe we can draw a Fable or something later. I can only win this game if I stall, like, and get my opponent to not play the game. Okay, so now they can go tutor a Petal. Or not. Keep it in play, I guess. Maybe this is time to tutor a Petal. Or, sorry, Opal, of course. I think the opponent has to tutor an Opal now. But they don't. They keep it in play. Can we draw something to punish such reckless behavior? No. Draw land. So I'll pass. Three. Yeah, if my opponent just has a 4-drop in hand, what is going on here? Sweet draw. So kill Tezzeret, attack life total. And no flings here. I like the Magus. Here's another Tezzeret. Let's see if the opponent learned the lesson. They have learned the lesson. All right, so it soaks up a little bit more damage and finds the Opal. Atrocious draw here. Now I have to play land because I play Fury in my deck. So let's see, worth noting, this Blood Moon might be fine now because then I can fling Magus later. I think this is how I play. So now I expect to lose to the One Ring that my opponent could have cast some turns ago, but I got lucky that they didn't minus the Tezzeret. Nice little draw 6 here for my opponent before I can hit them again. I draw One Ring. That's cool. So One Ring, draw, Fable. So maybe I just play out land now. I think that's reasonable. And now I pass because the opponent has protection. So this game gets a little bit weird now because chaining One Rings is pretty good, to say the least. Monolith is the way to start this turn for my opponent. That would be, yeah, exactly. So now I'm probably just dead. We had a good run here. I feel like I played well. Tried to delay the One Ring. Let's see what the opponent has here. I mean, I'm hoping my opponent has a Karn, which is kind of funny. Another Fleshraker. That's fine. So the opponent has 4 mana, I believe. They untap Monolith. So let's see. Am I winning if I draw another Bombardier? I don't think I am. Now maybe, because it's 10. Yeah, I think now I'm winning if I draw another Bombardier. Given my opponent doesn't just crush me here with another ring protection. Okay, the opponent's back to 4 mana. Let's see what they can do. 4 mana with the key untapping for Monolith. Yeah, this was a pretty cool game. I Furied a token. I Stone Rained my opponent. I Mooned my opponent. To basically try and delay that One Ring. I think that was exactly my chance to win this game. I think it's also a chance that is now gone by. So here it looks to be a Kozilek's command. Making a bunch of tokens. Not getting anywhere on the life total, though. Because of One Ring protection. I would have been long dead if it wasn't for that. The opponent is probably looking for the next One Ring to just bridge the turn, in which case I lose. The opponent kept the card on top. I don't love that. All right, here's another One Ring. Now, I think They just sacrificed a new one. Now I need something like kill the flesh rakers, hope for the best. 20. Another one ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. I mean, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, one ring. Keep the old one, I guess. Is that right? Or should I keep the new one trying to spike a fury? Hmm. If that was the case, I should have killed the flesh raker with that one. Huh. Okay. So maybe I keep that. And now attack. Kill that card, flinging the Mox. Is that right? Yeah, maybe. So now the opponent could block here, trade off Flesh Raker. They don't. Okay. Okay. Draw 5 cards. So now a trick you can usually do is use Key Command on the opponent's turn with the One Ring. Because of the protection. But I actually don't think I can win this game. The opponent needs some atrocious cards in hand. Yeah, the big problem is when you have the choice between drawing 6 cards or making 3 mana, that is a little bit of a problem. So we get latticed here. All right. So I lose game 1. My sideboard is a little bit questionable here. So I guess I like the Moons and the Confluence. I don't like that card. Chalice of the Void is playable in, I guess, kind of small numbers. Maybe Fury is the same. Let's see. Disruptor Flute should be good, right? Because it can name anything from, you know, Saga to Untapper to Saga to Untapper to One Ring. I might want these, just a couple of Flesh Raker removal spells. Not that it's exciting or anything, but it'd be fine. Maybe this Chalice just straight up sucks because he diversifies the mana values so well. Okay, this looks like something I can, you know, can submit in decent faith. Let's go. I'll play first. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can find a turn 1 play. We cannot find a turn 1 play. This is turn 2 flute. I think that sucks. I think I have to do something turn 1. Let's see. The opponent's on 7 cards. I can go turn 1 to turn 2 moon. Yeah. I think I have to keep this, but it's really bad. Probably get rid of a normal blood moon and high roll a little bit. When I say high roll, I'm talking about playing out some Pyrogoyfs that, you know, and those are just going to be so small in the matchup. For Monolith. Yeah, this is already over. No real chance here. We can wonder what would have happened if we multi-5. I think that's about it. Here's Tezzeret. So mana is now no longer an issue, and I don't play Null Rod, so that is just a beating. Let's just see the action card here, and we can concede. Because my plan here is turn 2 Magus against someone with infinite mana around, you know, the land base. So it's not exactly competitive if there's anything to go with these mana rocks. Mystic Forge, in theory, a playable magic card. Or, sorry, beatable magic card. Andrea doesn't want to draw Urza Saga. All right, here's Magus of the Moon. That card doesn't do anything on this board, unfortunately. It's currently negating the opponent of 1 mana. Even Tezzeret can go and get on Mox Opal. For Monolith, that's a plus for the Tezzy. Five total. All right, I think that's going to do it for this one. Let's move on to the next match. All right, here we have Jeskai Wizards, a deck that I love to play. A little bit of a wizard package here with Trainer and Tameo, Flame of Anor, flexible removal spell, card advantage, rock solid mana base. Most importantly here, we have a pile of counters and hopefully Murktide or Fourth Eolingus to finish off the game in a timely manner. Sideboard, I have a second Wrath of the Skies. I have Force of Negation number 3, and I have 4 consigns, so I'm trying to be as ready as I can against this dangerous Mystic Forge deck. Let's see if I can do it to him. All right, we have Jeskai Wizards up next against Mystic Forge. Wow, this is interesting. Is Minor Misstep going to catch anything? The thing is, Minor Misstep and Ending, they kind of do the same in this hand. I'm going to keep it and hope for the best. If I could bridge that gap and Trainer into a Force, I think we have a game on our hands. Let's see. This hand obviously loses to the best draws out of Mengu's deck. That's just how it goes. For Monolith is good, so now we're hoping for the key. There's also, unfortunately, a 3-mana key in my opponent's deck called Tezzeret. Let's see if we can hit the small one here. That would be the success criteria. Yeah, this sucks. So if I had a force, I would force this card because it leaves the Monolith untapped. Fleshraker, another banger. There's Petal. Yeah, the opponent really just crushed my draw here. Tezzeret goes to 5. Here's Soul Guide Lantern. I will misstep that card. Spell Pierce would have been quite a bit better. That's how it goes. So, in theory, this Trainer finding a force could somewhat stabilize us. Okay, we already get the force. That's cool. So now I think the move is... Prismatic Ending the Monolith, maybe? Or is mana simply not a thing? And I should focus on the threats. Maybe that's the move. Okay, let's try and play Trainer. Wrath of the Skies. That could be something later, but I actually think Flame is going to be better. If I have a third land, I can do some cool things with Flame of Anor. Yeah, Minor Misstep in the flex counter slot here looks atrocious when it could be a Spell Pierce. But yeah, that's how deck building works, and especially playing Control, right? You have to make some tough choices that frequently make you look like a fool or a genius. So at this point, the opponent should expect the coast to be clear. Mishra's Research Desk. I think that card is acceptable. Fleshraker and Ancient Tomb. 2 very, very annoying cards. So Fleshraker can now get cast. Saga, very nice. Because now, even if I force the Flesh Raker, yeah, I think I should do that. Force Pitch Trainer, hope to draw Red Source is my play. If I draw Red Source, I kill off Monolith and Flesh Raker. I draw Red Source, so we have a game on our hands. Well, I guess Urza's Saga is really strong. There's also Tezzeret waiting to do even more damage. I think I have to do this play. Destroy artifact, deal 5. Attack the Tezzeret for good measure. And now I still have to beat an onboard Urza Saga. So this is going to be very tough. Yeah, I think the game has gone out of hand now. Because Tezzeret already tutored card advantage, staying in play. Yeah, this is going to be very hard. Now the opponent's going to make a token to get the bonus from Tezzeret. Then Mengu can consider tutoring here. Yep, I like it. So the only good thing for me now is the opponent did this sorcery speed, so now this ending is on. So in theory, if I draw land, I can do some stuff. But I expect to be in trouble here, I must say. Tutor for a 1-drop or a 0-drop. And a Labra. Which he can play out. Yeah, that's the card that makes Tezzeret survive this turn. Unless I draw land, of course. I don't draw land. So I'm trying to see what happens if I make a token, double attack my opponent, then I become the monarch. Getting heavily outclassed, though. How can I possibly win this game? Don't think I can. Because that candelabra means my opponent has action in hand. If I hold up negation, I'm losing to the board. I guess I have to do that because I play the card Dress Down in my deck. All right. The plan is to counter a big spell here and then draw a Dress Down for the tokens before I'm dead. Very, very challenging stuff. Very, very hard to beat this deck when it goes, you know, tons of mana. My agency was to mulligan this game. I don't know. I think it's close. I could easily see that being the case. So the opponent can float mana here because they're about to lose an Urza land. That's kind of cool. Let's see what they tutor. The thing is, I'm not really pressuring this. This Tezzeret has just stayed in play and made life very hard for me. There's still a research desk in the graveyard. I'm facing down 2 big tokens. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. Mengu is trying to figure out the best way to approach this. There's also some candelabra options here. So tap for 2, use candelabra to gain the mana. Okay, he decides against it. Let's see what the target is. I'm ready for it. Here's Chrome. Oh, sorry, here's Opal. Planar Nexus, 2 Urza lands, 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana, 6 mana. Research Desk. Sure. Getting sacrificed, I guess. So this is pretty... Okay, I guess let's see what happens here. Also, this is just a good read. If he ends up just doing straight up nothing here and I wasted my mana, I probably can never win, right? I'm playing this turn to try and catch some 4-drop. I'll take 6. Problem with... Yeah, maybe that's fine. Monolith and K command. Neither of those are juicy negation targets, I must say. Untap that. That's a good one. That's a good one. And now the opponent has a bunch of mana, so they will be very interested in firing off the K command here. If I draw Dress Down into a land, I can win this game. I think that's what I need. If I dress down into a land, then I can dress down these clowns. I can... 4th Eolingus for 0. And I can get the Monarch. I think that's my only way out here. Force of Will is not it. All right. So I lose game 1 here in quite convincing fashion. I did get into some interesting spots there, I feel like. So these cards are probably good. I don't like 4th Eolingus. I don't like the missteps. I don't necessarily love the full amount of plows. That should probably be at a 2, I would guess. Then what about the rest here? Just cut 1 prismatic ending. Prismatic ending is fine against something like a monolith or a 1-drop, but not that impressive overall. This is also a matchup where you can cut a land, so maybe I'm just gonna do that. With 2 Wraths, am I allowed to cut planes? I think it's fine because my mana is so good. The only punishment is if I, natural draw planes or I have to fetch it early, then I draw Vista, which was supposed to be my second white, but I think that's okay. Okay, let's see if we can do a little bit better here with more interaction in the deck. That was a beating. A bad hand, and I got what I deserved. Okay. I'll try this, but it's a little bit asking for trouble here. 4 consigns in the deck, though, are quite likely to hit here. I don't. And we are already in a little bit of trouble. So, from Andreas' point of view, this looks like I'm keeping a 1-lander and a bottom 2 cards. I'm trying to look for land, right? The problem is he doesn't care about that. That's always a little bit annoying when you're making content and there's no game. Just in time. Just in time. I cannot beat the 1 ring, so I will... If this card is in play, I don't think my deck works, right? I don't think it does. All right, let's go to the next one. Sorry for that one. All right, next up we have Bant Nadu, a deck that I won a challenge with recently. Bant Nadu is a deck that is a little bit in trouble against fast combo decks. Of course, we have Force of Will and we have our own combo, but in general, I don't love my game 1 setup. I think these cameos are going to be very, very slow. I think some of my inevitability is going to be not that great. We have some graveyard hate cards. Essentially, we're trying to combo before the opponent, which is quite tough. Thankfully, I have some good upgrades in the sideboard. I have consigns, negations, I have an oof, and some artifact destruction. So yeah, hopefully we can do it over the course of the match. All right, I'm on the draw here with the Bant Nadu. I'm playing against Mystic Forge, and this is not what I want to see. I was happy to see the Force, and I am very unhappy to not see a blue card to go with it. This is a lot better. So what can we do here? Probably get rid of Nadu. I think that's fine. Turn 1 Lantern is all goody. No blue card, but I feel like I have to get Tamio going in this matchup. Or with a hand like this, rather. So essentially, I want to pitch to Ponder, and then I want to draw a blue card off of either Draw Step or the Clue. I think that's how I'm supposed to play here. I need to get this going. Otherwise, I just, you know, run out of steam, essentially. Mengu with 4 mana. I'll force the One Ring, and now I need the next blue card or I'm essentially dead. Attack, pass. And now the opponent has infinite mana and a K command. I don't love that, I must say. Crack the Clue. This timing, I could have thought about if I crack Clue on my turn. And he rightfully makes me pay here. Well played. I'll just take a screenshot here and send it to him later. He'll be happy about that one. Yeah, K command resolves. And now the opponent is stacking their deck, essentially, which is not going to end well for me here. I can tell you that. Let's see what they do here. Also, they know in the matchup their mana is untouchable. So, let's see. The thing is, I feel like the only way I can win this game, the absolute only way I can win this game, is if my top 2 cards are Nomad, Nadu. And I think I have to hang on to this Ponder and hope my opponent botched it a little bit. Because there's... I was going to say almost 0 chance here. So let's see. Let's use this card. I think Needle is incredibly annoying. I don't have an answer for Needle. That's the problem. Yeah. Okay. We lose this game. Let's see. I have a ton of cards here that are good against the deck. Now the question is if I can cut enough cards. Those are bad. Those are bad. Plows are questionable. I can always cut basic planes. Safekeeper I don't think is needed. So I've already done a decent job here to get it down. Tamio I can easily cut a copy of. So how good is Delighted Halfling? Delighted Halfling is probably not that great. I could cut a Halfling. I don't think that's crazy. Then what does this look like? Because I'm going to be holding up, holding up Consign, maybe playing Tamio. I'm going to be doing a lot of reactive things. So I think this kind of sideboarding works fine. All right, I'll play first. This hand looks fine. So what are we doing here? Tropical Ponder. Trying to set up either a Nomad or more interaction is what I'm looking for. I think that's solid. And then I kind of hope to get there before I get overwhelmed. It's a rough one. Like when Mystic Forge has good draws, and then even just a totally reasonable hand like this can look silly. And especially the niche ones I had with Wizards and Mono Red, they just get ridiculed by the top tier draws of Forge. And then you have the draws with Forge where you're bad against the first Force of Will, you crumble to a Wasteland, you mulligan a lot. Those kind of low resource games. That's just how the cookie crumbles, right? You get a little bit of the full spectrum with that deck. I think a good place to start is play a lot of consigns, because that is just, it's just so strong, right? Imagine any consign onto when the opponent goes Ancient Doom, Monolith, Tezzeret, and you just consign the Tezzeret. Then they're left with a tapped Monolith, right? You essentially ate 2 cards for 1, and their synergy deck can crumble a little bit. So I certainly think that's a good way to good place to start. So yeah, back to this hand. Fetch Trop, cast Ponder, look for interaction or nomads. I think that's a decent strategy. I also have Zenith for Oof available in my deck. Consign Nadu Ponder. So that could make this Nadu my force pitch, which is not terrible. So maybe something along these lines. So then next turn I can Brainstorm Ponder probably. So here's Glaring Fleshraker, which resolves with this setup. A little bit annoying, actually. So now I can Brainstorm Fetch. Is that good? I should probably Brainstorm Fetch, because if I hit a Nomad, I deploy the Nomad. Brainstorm. Okay, that land is atrocious. Get rid of Dryad Arbor Zenith? Is that good? Maybe the Zenith is quite bad now. And I think in this spot, I'm supposed to keep pondering because I have the negation. Now I also have a Force of Will. Do I need 3 counter magic? I think that's solid. So Cameo, land, force. And now my plan is essentially play Nadu, force twice. Huh. Also, the opponent, you know, they know there's some forces going on here. So this is going to be some Nadu beatdowns versus the plan of the Mystic Forge deck. I have a land on top, and then I'm shuffling away a Tameo. Four mana. Down to 14. Opponent not suspecting the 3/4. Here's Mystic Forge. This smells a lot of the opponent's next best card, but that's fine. Do I pitch a Nadu? Let's see how this plays out. If I negate here, pitch Nadu, I still have double counter left. Here's the ping. Here's the attack for 2. Here's what I believe should be a blue source. Green, maybe, is a Force of Vigor. So now I'm hoping for another single spell turn, and I should be in good shape. My opponent has some needle turn. I'm in bad shape. Or some, not needle, some double spell, double spell stuff. I'm in bad shape. So Fleshraker is a card that could race me, so I'm gonna counter it. I'm just gonna imagine it's a One Ring. Let's see. My opponent's now on 3 mana. Yeah, that's the thing. Okay. Well played, well played. But the thing is, I think I'm losing the race if I'm losing the race if I don't counter that card. So that was more just a testament of my opponent's strength rather than anything else. Brainstorm. So let's see. I can do 2 things here. And I think I should do this one because this digs the hardest for Nomad. Even though Force of Vigor seems fine, I think this is what I have to do. Drawing a card. So now essentially, if my opponent takes 4, they're at 5, then they're dead. So I need them to take 4 off of the tombs here. But if they do that, well, it has to be for a card that kills Nadu or is a One Ring, I guess. Yeah, that's probably a pipe dream. I have to look as hard as I can for a Nomad. Pretty cool game where the Ancient Tombs almost ended up mattering. The turn 1 Fleshraker was a little bit of a sneaky play. Let's see. Here's a Karn that I'm going to consign here alongside the Fleshraker trigger. So my only chance is I'm leaving my opponent in the dumpster here. Let's see if that's the case. Nadu aggro, 2 damage from One Ring. So you're saying there's a chance. Here's Urza's Saga. A card they could have played before, but didn't. Three mana. A command. So what does my opponent need to hit here? Pedal into 4-drop? I think that's it. Pedal into 4-drop. 1 to the bottom. I don't like that my opponent is passing the turn. Wait a minute, did I just mess up by fetching here? I think I may have messed up here by fetching. I should have thought about life total here. I just assumed I was winning. Yeah, definitely should have thought about life total here. There was no reason to do this. Okay, so I got lucky and emerged victorious. Does that game tell me anything? that I need to know. Essentially, I have to ask myself, how relevant are these mana dorks going to be on the draw? So I will have hands where I'm interested in going turn one either Zenith Arbor or that like a ramp card into, I guess, Nadu. But with that being said, most games are probably played with normal land drops. Tough call. At the end of the day, there's also green cards for Vigor. Could have another blue card for Force. I could have another Plow. This is very tough. This is very, very tough because with only 2 Plows, I could see myself frequently having to force Fleshraker. What about this? I'll leave in 1 Dork. And I have a 3rd Plow. I'm down to try that. 2 Plows, 3 Plows. Too hard. Too hard. So first step, we need interaction in our opener. This counts. This is bad against turn 1, but this counts. And then we have to, not just get Giga smoked. Yeah, he's this habit is a bad one of I don't like this habit of turn 1 monolith. That's too strong. So let's see what we can do. I can draw Zenith. That is an atrocious draw, unfortunately. So now I should... What happens if Mengu does nothing? Am I then surveilling? I don't think that's realistic. I think I have to play like this. So... Yeah, this is not great. The opponent has too much mana here. Disruptor Flute. I will accept that card and hope that the game is about something else. And I will also sniff out that it's a little bit suspicious. Wow, nice name. Very nice name here. That was very, very solid. So Land Pass gives away the consign in a lot of games. I tried to mask it here a little bit. The Tundra also represents Swords of Plowshares. But this is just high-level play. That's just what you love to see. Very high-level play. So if I have any of the forces here, my opponent looks like a fool, but neither looks like a genius. So that's high level. And I'm holding up mana for nothing, the confirmation. And now I draw the force. That's really funny. It's been a few of those. So I guess now the move is to develop most likely develop Nomad and try and go for Nadu. So we're digging... Yeah, Force of Will is too good to pass up here, I think. So... Let's take the Force. Let's... The thing is, do I even develop Nomad? I don't think so. I think what I'm supposed to do now is go Dryad Arbor, then next turn Zenith for Oof, and hope to get there with 2 forces. Okay, new plan. So Mystic Forge is the beatable action card. Now the opponent has a ton of mana, but I actually don't mind that. So let's see. That card... Probably too strong here. Tezzeret. Yeah, let's not make that happen. Let's exile the Tamiyo. There's a chance 4 mana consign comes into play later. This could be a little bit of a losing battle, especially because my opponent completed Tron, but I'm willing to give this a go. 4 mana. Is this K command to kill the Arbor? Yeah. So let's see. If I force that card, I then draw Brainstorm, go Brainstorm, play Nomad. The opponent wants to make spawns. Okay. I'm going to try and make this happen and then try and set up as best as I can here. Another flute. I don't think I can let that happen. All right. The opponent played very well here. They knew about the flute on top. Pedal. Oh, wow. They keep going here. All right. We get bested here. It's time for the last one of the day. All right. Last deck of the testing session. I have Dimir Reanimator. So very, very standard main deck. Worth noting in this matchup is that I have main deck Negation. I have Triple Wasteland. And then I have my own game plan, which, you know, can be foiled quite easily by Tezzeret into Graveyard Hate or K Command. I will probably have to lean on Murktide Regent. That would be my best guess. Sideboard-wise, I have Consigns, single copy of Explosives, and then I'll have to make a decision on the removal spells and what the right number is. But yeah, this is going to be a sweet one between two titans of the format, and I'm not talking about the players, I'm actually talking about the decks. Let's get to it. All right, I'm playing Reanimator against Mystic Forge. This is going to be the last match after a severe beating from the champ. This hand looks fine. I have a force and I can start digging a little bit. Looking for Reanimate. So let's see what I have going on here, because the island is not doing me any favors. Mystic Forge will sometimes play main deck Tormatch Crypt, but at least Soul Guide Lantern is a little bit of standard. Urza's Tower. Oh, wow. That is not a very nice card to show me here. I'll have to force to negate Soul Guide Lantern turn 1. And now I wish this was a black land, but it's not. So I guess let's cast this Ponder. Ooh, Daze. Daze just might be what the doctor ordered. Daze is better than a random card here. So now the opponent has seen me keep the Ponder and keep a Surveil, so they kind of know that, you know, this could be a fast one. If they pass here, it's K command, right? That's the thing. So the opponent has plenty of counterplay between K command, stuff like that. Okay. One ring, no thanks. And 2 Matraxa. And then I'm going to cast Reanimate before making my land drop, because I could find Wasteland. Okay. I think it is possible for me to have a bad one there, but certainly not ideal for my opponent. So on the draw, I have some cards that aren't the best. I could easily trim Tameo. I can easily trim Animate Dead. I can easily trim Dazes. Do I even want the explosives? Also, my opponent's going to be a Leyline deck. That's actually the biggest problem here. If my opponent has a Leyline, I'm down to Tameos and Brazen. So maybe that's why I need 4 Tameos and I have to cut Daze instead. Yeah, maybe this explosives can save me against some sagas or whatever. I don't have any removal spells for Fleshraker. I think that's totally reasonable. Yeah, in a matchup like this, I would love to have the third borrower, but I don't think it's that great across the board, so I don't have it in my 75. Okay, this hand is great against non-leyline, right? No leyline, so guess we're gaming a little bit here. Reanimate. Is this where I cast Ponder to look weak? Because I could only get Archon next turn. So there's also the other option to go to cleanup with this Atraxa. Maybe that's better. Going to clean up with Atraxa, reanimate next turn. Yeah, okay. Let's try going to clean up. The opponent has 4 mana. I'm not fond of this. Arn the Great Creator can go and get Tormod's Crypt, so I'm not interested in that. Now I'll do a minor bit of thinning and look to find Force Blue card. If I don't, could be in trouble. Okay. Looks like we got there. So Murktide, Wasteland, Force of Will, Thoughtseize. I think these are good. And then I can Entomb, Reanimate Archon next turn, which is kind of funny. Pass. Discard land, I guess. Looks like we will have one more match after this. That's cool. All right, let's try one more against the Gucci. All right, bonus round here. I should have asked for bonus round with the Wizards deck, but I didn't think of it. So this hand looks fine. We are not doing anything busted, but we are saying no. Okay, Tormod's Crypt. That's very annoying, but I think I'm supposed to let it go here. Yeah, main deck Tormod's Crypt is brutal. Monolith is fine, because I plan to force the next thing. Let's force the key and hopefully leave Mengu a little bit in the dirt here. All right, so far so good. Brainstorm not bad, so maybe my move now is to go Surveil Land. If I'm forced to Force a Will, pitch Ponder. I think this is fine. A little bit annoying to mill over that card for later. So against Tormod's Crypt, my plan is mainly Murktide Regent. Ooh, Wasteland is a sicko card here. Which land am I wasting? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just hanging on to the Wasteland. Is that crazy? I actually think it's fine to hang on to the Wasteland. Let's brainstorm, see what's going on here. So Entomb is very bad. And so is this land. So maybe I just go Thoughtseize. I still have force, and I still have a little bit of digging power. No Murktide, unfortunately. That would have been my dream draw here, because it forces the issue in an annoying way for the opponent. Earn the Great Creator and the One Ring, and a ton of mana. So now we also learn more about what to do next turn. The thing is, I'm going to force either of these cards. So which one do I want my opponent to get left with? I don't know. So now I'm hoping to make this look like I'm just, you know, choosing to fight Karn over choosing to fight the One Ring. So actually, is Daze going to be great here if I wasteland my opponent? Or is that too unambitious? I think that's too unambitious. So let's counter the Karn. And now... Force Will is not bad, but I think I have to get going here. That's the thing. Here's Reanimate with no targets. So... Let's see. Reanimate with no targets is not better than a fetch. I think I need to develop Tamiyo now, even though it hurts a lot. I think what I'm going to do is kill off Planar Nexus. And then try and dodge here. Play Tamiyo. And then hopefully get the clues running. And it didn't work. The opponent had land 4-drop. Yeah, sometimes that's how it goes. I think that was a good play. Trying to get over the hump here and get going. My next card is a Reanimate. No creatures in the graveyards. So I'm going to crack a clue here. This was not a Murktide Regen bluff. I would have just slammed it if I had it. And here's Archon. And that's all she wrote. Okay, so we got punished here for trying to turn the corner with this Tamiyo. The point is that if I hold up that force and I end up forcing a 4-drop, I'm in a terrible spot, right? Then I'm a huge underdog. So it's more likely that I get this going, find my blue card before the opponent plays an action spell, and then I'm riding this off to the sunset. Tezzeret with the search. This could be a lantern, so that my opponent can break the graveyard and never mind. That was going to be a key. Okay, so the opponent wants their mana situation to make sense. There's Entomb. Let's attack. Crack a clue, see what's going on. Thoughtseize is not a blue card. I can't exactly say the strategy worked out here with trying to get to a blue card. So now the opponent has infinite mana. The opponent has that card. What's underneath it? Petal. And now the opponent can even... Yeah, the opponent has too much stuff here. That's too much. All right, sideboard against Mystic Forge. I'm on the play, which makes my days a lot better. So the thing is, what we just talked about, if they have Leyline, if they open on Leyline, I'm currently a Tamiyo Brazen Borrower deck. And that's probably fine. What you could also do in a matchup like this is trim your reanimation package to something like 2 Entombs, 3 Reanimate, just 1 Atraxa to try and meet them in the door. I actually don't like that strategy. I guess I can cut a land against a deck like this. All right. All right. All right. Yeah, tough matchup. Always tough, very, very tough deck because it has so much either threats, but also just answers. Leyline is just a nightmare to think about. Can't keep that. This hand is great. Keep. I will get rid of the basic here. And the opponent has a Leyline of the Void, so we're playing Tameo Magic here. Let's just hold up Consign here, and then I need to find Tameo or Brazen Borrower. Let's see here. Let's ponder Brainstorm. Brainstorm should be better than a random card, though. The opponent knows I'm holding up Consign. Here's a draw one. No, oh, it's a flute. Okay. So once again, the opponent makes a great play of Disruptor fluting to play around Consign on the hands where I don't have like Forcer Days. So awesome play. If they land a 4-drop here, they successfully emerged. Versus Saga. The opponent decides to play around Days. I can recommend it. Tezzeret Cruel Captain. So now the opponent can think about what to do. Untap, slam 4-drop, win the game. I love it. Now the tough part is, do you keep playing around Days? Or do you slam into it? And it looks like they keep playing around Days. Also, Tezzeret is a good avenue towards Needle, so the opponent doesn't lose to Tameo ult. Full Guide Lantern. Okay, so they want 2 layers. That makes me essentially a Tameo deck. I can't say I love that. So let's see. Maybe this is just Ponder. My hand is decent. I really want a Wasteland. Here's a Wasteland. So Wasteland the Ursa Saga. Huh, maybe that was... Wait a minute. Maybe that was bad. I could have consigned. Maybe that was better. Tough to say. I think that was slightly better. So they must be thinking about the second consign here. I'm drawing a fetch land, so I'm gonna keep going here. The opponent holding up 6 mana. These cards are not good. Let's keep trucking here. The thing is, that consign is great, and so is the negation. And I think that's buying enough time for the brainstorm to just dig past it at some point. So essentially, while I'm sitting here, I need to find a Brazen Borrower and start attacking, or I need to find a Tameo to start attacking before my opponent dominates my triple counter magic. That card is fine. So now if the opponent wants to, they can go and get Research Desk for action. Tons of mana. I guess search the research desk. I don't think that's worth countering. It's better to just counter what comes out of it. Okay, another lantern. Okay, you got it, opponent. The opponent's trying to build infinite layers here. Okay, I guess just draw a card. So they boarded out research desk because they figured in this matchup they will be, you know, tutoring these boys most often, right? So I'm gonna try and counter this to make sure I'm only one bounce spell away. Let's see if that checks out here. Okay, that card kills me with the cards I have on top. 7 mana, big command, I guess. Yeah, this game is over because of the Ursa Saga. The opponent doesn't respect days. I counter, but I have 2 bad cards on top. I guess I can sign the Saga here. That's a little bit funny. Counter the tokens and hope to get into some crazy stall. I'm drawing Archon, I believe. Pass the turn. This is a little bit of garbage time, so whenever he finds a bomb, I'll concede, I promise. The opponent fetches Tormod's Crypt, which is a little bit funny. Getting the Tezzeret up to 3. All right. Force of Will is a bad draw. Let's say they have a bad draw and I draw a blue card, then we're doing something. The opponent has infinite mana. I draw a blue card. I wouldn't mind a Brazen Bar or a Tameo here, I must say. Let's check. No Surveil's gone. All right. The opponent should probably start slow rolling stuff. Let's see what this is. Slam another ley line. That's awesome. Ley line has entered. Murktide Regent is a blue pitch. Yeah, unfortunately, I think my opponent is heavily favored in this game. But I'll take my my shot here. Wasteland was not bad. That covers Ursa's Saga as a draw. Enables Hardcast Force as a, you know. For Monolith, yes. I'm actually not scared of that Tezzeret because I think they boarded out Research Desk. Let's see if I'm right about that. I guess this could be a needle. Okay, that's not terrible. Portable hole, okay. The opponent now has a portable hole, which covers Tameo, which is funny. Pass the turn. It also makes Thoughtseize somewhat of a live draw. I guess this turns, I mean, with my draws here and the opponent's terrible draws, this turned into a cool game. Here's Thoughtseize that I'm not going to cast now because it puts me off Hardcast Force. When it has 3 cards, could be K Command. That's what I'm thinking about at least. Atraxa. That is a blue pitch for later. I think I'm just going to discard Archon here. Let's see. I have 1 more C and 2 basics in my deck, which makes it, in theory, castable. So that's why I should discard Reanimate. Reanimate works if I force to will a Flesh Raker and I reanimate it. Is that better than Hardcast Archon? So let's see. Hardcast. Force Pitch. Force Pitch. Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, I'll discard Reanimate. I will live the Hardcast Archon dream. One dual, 2 basics is 8. Yeah, okay. Another Reanimate. All right. All right, all right. The opponent also knows I have Force here, so a little bit of a weird game. Candelabra is all goody. That's just a mana source, and I consider my opponent on infinite mana here. It's funny that I'm even asking for a land at this point. I think that's kind of crazy. Is this just a moment to cast Thoughtseize and accept that I have to Force Pitch? Let's try that. Flesh Raker. That's a good one. It's an annoying card that starts the show. So now I would have loved to Reanimate, which is ironic. I didn't think about the play pattern of hanging on to Flesh Raker to try and make a good Flesh Raker turn because the opponent just kept playing out stuff. So that was cool. Here's Nexus. So wait a minute. That card gone. I think the opponent's hand is Ol, E, and 1 unknown. That is a fun one. Nice days. Now I'm gonna discard Atraxa. At least 3/3 Murktide Regent is a thing. Brazen? Nice and Tomb. I'm not gonna thin my deck here. It's better to hold up Hardcast Force. When I discard this card, my opponent will have confirmation that I have Force. Because otherwise it would have thinned my deck. Nice. Okay, deck. Is it time? It's not time. This is too funny. I will discard a Dace. Come on, deck. Land, Tameo, something. That is a Tameo. Let's go. Okay, so now the problem is I will have to Force of Will a Portable Hole. And that's not something I love. Here's Urza's Saga. Yes, you are allowed to have that land for the time being. This looks like Portable Hole to me, which I will force. Pitch Murktide Regent. So that Saga was actually an annoying card. Because now I need to draw land in order to hold up Hardcast. The opponent figures it's time to go. Let's see what this is. If I have to force pitch twice here, I think I'm in trouble. A command. Too good. Key, 2 more cards. Okay. Okay. So... yeah, I'm in trouble here, because now I'm out of protection. They have a key and 1 unknown card. Let's see what the unknown card is. Searching for a 1-drop, or 0, I guess. Reveals a manifold key. Another Tezzeret. Okay. Sure, buddy. Okay. This game is cool. This game is really cool. So, yes, you got it. Tezzeret Ultimate is currently threatening. Reanimate onto the Fleshraker is a play I'm allowed to make. Let's see what I can draw off the clue here. Unless I'm trying to double clue next turn. Am I really going to do that? Double clue next turn. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it now. Clue. Into Entomb. Nice. Make a 2/2. Kill the Saga. Pass the turn. The Archon Dream is firmly dead. And here's a Mystic Forge. That's going to do it here because of ease, etc. All right. That was sweet. We got bested here in the rematch. And yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the testing session. I certainly did. And I hope to see you back soon for part 2.